Welcome to podcast 43. Yes, 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 maybe, but yes.
We're recording now. We're live.
We are live. All right. What's up? What's going on? Fulton, I haven't talked to you in like a week.
It's
so,
been about 9 years, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
give or
been,
take a few days.
It's been so long, dude.
Yeah.
I just, say hello to the kids for me.
I will. I'll be. Yeah. I've recently become a father in the past 9 years, man. It's insane. We start. Okay. Pardon this. We start out with our recently watched, right?
No. Yeah, we do.
We do. Okay, my bad. I don't know why I just had a brain fart about it.
Well,
I'll let you take the lead because you have you're here to give us your hot take on the trial, the trial of the Chicago.
The Trial of the Chicago 7, also known as Aaron Sorkin's new project that came out on Netflix on Friday, is a travesty of epic proportions. It is a horrid picture that is not worth your time. That's just the truth. It's a weird fetishization of the 60s and what that movement stood for, while ignoring important parts about like who these people were, and almost kind of making them all these characters in this trial making a mockery out of them. I don't think that really the performances were that strong. I think that Sacha Baron Cohen, he
did his
played Abby
Borat.
Hoffman.
Oh, oops, my bad.
Hey, that's next week. Don't
worry. Yeah.
But yeah, so like he played Abby Hoffman, the left wing hippie activist, and I could hear his British accent the whole time. But that's that's nothing compared to Sorkin's awful writing in this, which almost takes all these people and like turns them into like this idealized like West Wingified version of like who they actually stood for. And it just doesn't feel authentic. It just like, it's the 60s. The way that they portray the 60s and the way that it looks very dull. Doesn't look animated in the same way that they would portray it as. And it kind of reminded me of another movie about the 60s that came out this year on Amazon, though, the film about Gene Seberg with Kristen Stewart.
Oh yeah, I still haven't seen that one,
which was also bad.
Yeah, I didn't hear too many good things about it.
But it's like I don't know. They don't. This movie especially though has just an embarrassing ending, which is just one of the worst endings I've ever seen. It's like so hokey, so schmaltzy. I don't want to ruin it for people that actually do want to waste 2 hours and 10 minutes of their life. But yeah, like I think Eddie Redmayne probably was the strongest performance. He was what was his? He was Tom Tom Hayden. And I do find that era, very interesting. And I just think that it's best to look at like more contemporary stuff if you want to kind of get more of a picture of like what it was like, like Agnes Varda, the French New Wave director. She has a great documentary from 68 about the Black Panthers, and just watch that instead, and a slew of other movies that do this era justice. Like, I don't know, watch a documentary. I mean, like, yeah, it's interesting stuff. A riot, the riot that happened, and just the complete turmoil at the 1968 Democratic National Convention is worthy of a movie being made about it. But please just
Just not
somebody
this
rein,
one.
yeah, just somebody rein Aaron Sorkin in, because he does not do this justice. And I don't know, he's hit or miss. He can write. I think that he can write good dialogue. I think The Social Network is a very good movie.
Yeah, I agree.
But don't let him direct. I think that Molly's Game, similarly, his last film, the first thing that he directed, wasn't really that much. It wasn't good either. It was better than this, but I feel like he needs kind of to be reined in. He needs somebody else to have the vision of his script and not him do both. So yeah.
Well, I just to let people know I haven't seen it. If and when I get around to it, I'll be sure to bring it up, and me and Chris will talk about that. It might be like a week or so before I'm able to get to it. So hopefully by next time I'll by the time we record the next episode, maybe I'll see it, and we can go over the ending and Aaron Sorkin's directing and everything. Yeah. Did you have any other movies that you checked out this week?
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about Alan Rene's Hiroshima Mon Amour, which is a staple of the French New Wave. Just a very interesting romantic drama. It's pretty much just a conversation between two people for 90 minutes in the backdrop of Hiroshima, kind of with a unreliable narrator type thing about lost love and like what it's like to be in love. It's super depressing, but it's what stood out to me was Renee's use of documentary style footage, because that was what he did before uh this movie. He was more into like documentary style filmmaking, so you see a lot of like the horrors of the bombing of Hiroshima and like what it did to people. It's very disturbing, of course, because it is real. But
when did he shoot it?
Well, this movie came out in 59. I don't know when he shot that footage, and he probably got some as well, but there was
I
just,
just meant
very,
I just meant the film in general. My bad.
yeah, 59, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's definitely something that yeah, it's
Something
been
to check out.
yeah, something to check out if you want to get sad. And yeah, he, like, I don't know, like he was one of the big, obviously like one of the big new wave directors. And I was, been reading about him and stuff, and like also like how like Agnes Varda's her first film, which is, it's escaping me what it's called.
Here, I'll look it up really quick.
Le Point Court,
Okay.
from 55. Like I haven't seen it, but it's actually amazing that like that was like the movie that kind of like inspired all these people in France to like start making things. Like Rene and Godard and stuff, like they watched that movie. And it was shot on like a modest budget, I think of like $15,000 or something, and they were like, shit, I can make a movie. And I just find that really inspiring.
Yeah.
Like,
I've seen a little bit. I've seen like I think 2 or 3 films by Godard, but I've never seen any of her work, and you saying that, it does make me want to check that out. I didn't know. I knew she was a big part of the French New Wave, but I didn't know that she had a film that inspired everyone to kind of jump in and start making their own films. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very much like that something can make somebody do that, I think speaks a lot of power to it. I've only seen her Black Panthers documentary that I talked about, and then of course Cleo from 5 to 7, which is her most famous movie. But she had a new one that came out last year. Well, they released it posthumously because she died last year, actually. Yeah. All right, but enough about me. What about you?
I'm gonna keep it kind of short and sweet because I watched a few films between when we last recorded. And one of them is Thunder Road, but I'm gonna wait to save that till later.
I watched that as well. So
yeah. I'm super excited to talk about that one. Last week I talked about Session 9, and that was a film done by Brad Anderson, and I watched. It wasn't his next film, but I think like 2 or 3 films after Session 9, he made a film called TransSiberian, and it has the female actress. Her name is escaping me, but Woody Harrelson is in it. Kate Mara is also in it. Ben Kingsley is also in it, and it was all right. It loses steam near the end, and that's no pun intended. But if you, I don't know, it's okay. I don't have too much to say about it, but I just thought I would kind of end that thought because I know I kind of briefly talked about it last week.
yeah.
But one horror movie that I did really like, besides the one that we're going to talk about later, that I watched is called Dead End. Have you ever heard about Dead End before?
I have not. No, what's Dead End?
It's about this. So I really like it because the plot is pretty simple. There's a few things that hold it back, but I'll go into the plot. It's about like this family, the mother, father, daughter, and son, and the daughter has a boyfriend that accompanies them, and so they're going to the mom's family's old home that they celebrate Christmas at every year. They're going there, but instead of taking the highway that the father normally takes, he decides to take a back road to kind of like, see if he can find some back country roads to like get to the house quicker.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I think it's such a simple yet effective plot because like back roads have always really scared me, especially at night. Like especially traveling at night, and like it's such a simple fear, and I think it kind of like taps into that really well. I think I might like the film a little bit more than people do because I was like looking at the ratings. A lot of people don't really love it, and
Yeah.
I think it's good for about 2 watches. Like I think you can watch it once and then watch it a second time to kind of pick up on all the things that you may have missed because of the way the ending kind of reveals itself.
I do like that premise. Yeah, that's and Ray Wise too.
Yeah, and dude, he's an ass. I mean, like I've normally only seen him as a really bad person, but he's like he's really bad in this. And when you start to watch it, it is very much a product of its time. And yeah, it's got some really bad scoring. But like this, like one of the things that I can kind of connect it to, like in Don't Look Now, is me and you didn't really love. No, wait, I'm thinking of Candyman. Sorry, I know me and you didn't really love Candyman, but we both agreed that like there's those shots like really high up in the sky, and it just kind of like the car that they drive is at the center of the frame, right? In Candyman, and it's driving through the cities, and then they have that like that score of the what do you call that? The choir just like going, and it sounds almost like godly and like harrowing and freaky. This film does that too, and at first it doesn't really get it right. And why they changed the way they did it near the end, I don't know, but it did work in its benefit because it was like this
shift.
Yeah, it's weird because they have the choir, but there's like this hip hop part to it, and it really takes away from it being scary. And then there's like a shift somewhere in the movie where they kind of ditch all that like gimmicky, like early 2000s, like, I don't know, like background music, and they just kind of focus in on what really works. So like the beginning of it, I think would fool most people, and they would turn it off and they would say, all right, screw it, whatever, you know. But I think it's a little bit rewarding the more you go into it. For me personally, because it's one of those situations where it only gets worse and worse, and it's really um, stressful, I'd say, like
Yeah.
especially at the end. Um, and I don't think the kills are necessarily like that crazy. I think it's the presentation of the kills is, what's kind of interesting. They kind of leave some stuff up to the imagination. Um, yeah, I've been wanting to talk about this for a week now, so I'm sorry if I if I went a little bit too in, but I would say I highly recommend it if you want a simple yet effective horror movie. And if this film doesn't work for you, I'm sorry. It's not a long watch, so
Yeah, the tension. If yeah, it's all. I mean, that's tension is always. I would say more important in a lot of ways for horror than like satisfying kill and stuff. As
Mhm.
much as I do love that, but
Like
that's now.
some of the kills are inch like I don't look at that because I know some people want to watch horror. Yeah, but like you were saying, they want to watch it for the kills.
Oh my god,
Um,
all the gore.
oh my god! And this film kind of somewhat. It's an interesting watch to me, and it's more of like I don't know if the film is actually that good. I just think that it's kind of the experience that it puts you through with these group of people. I think that's what's more interesting because like the ending is pretty stupid. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's almost like it's kind of funny when you think about it, but it's interesting that they attempt to connect it all. If that makes sense. I mean, um, but yeah, and then my last film that I kind of want to talk about really quickly, which I think, have you seen Heat yet?
I actually still have not seen Heat. The only Michael Mann movie I've seen is Black Hat, unfortunately, which
Oh yeah, I still haven't seen that one.
mm,
I've seen most
yeah,
of Manhunter, and then I've seen Heat twice. Um, just for a little bit of background, I don't know if you know this, Chris.
the Halloween costume
Yeah, yeah,
idea.
yeah. So me and a few friends are gonna be, the characters from Heat. I have the lovely pleasure of being Robert De Niro. Um, and I'm pretty excited. But to get in the Halloween spirit, me and the me and the homies that have agreed to do this, we all decided to rewatch Heat. It's 2 hours and 50 minutes long. Um, I don't think I love Heat. I just think it's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
Um, like like the thing that blows my mind is that I've seen more early era Al Pacino stuff than I have late era Al Pacino. No, actually
Yeah.
flip that around. I've only seen two early Al Pacino, and what I would classify as early is before his yelling phase. His
Well,
yelling
no,
phase is
wait, but you haven't seen you've seen what Godfather 1, Godfather 2,
Oh yeah,
Dog
that's
Dog
right.
Day Afternoon.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was thinking of Scarface too. So I guess I have seen a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, he like Dog Day Afternoon, that's some of like my favorite acting that I've ever seen. Like I truly do believe that that isn't out like if that makes sense, like I don't feel like I'm watching Al Pacino playing a character in Dog Day Afternoon. And then so to see his
Yeah.
late stuff, I guess it's not late, but to see his later roles like this, I don't think Al Pacino is bad, but it's just like there's something so funny to me about him,
Dude,
and
it sucks, bro. Like, dude,
yeah,
like, well, like I don't like
because
that
he's so talented.
he
Like,
won an Oscar for Scent of a Woman, which is like fine, but like
hmm
the fact that he didn't win, it's actually a part of a great joke in a little film called Jack and Jill, where
I have seen that one.
remember that part in Jack and Jill where like Adam Sandler, or you mean Jill, is over Al
No,
Pacino's
Chris.
Jill is over Al Pacino's house, and she accidentally destroys his Oscar, and she's like, "You probably have another one," and then like he's like says something like, "You'd be surprised, but that's my only one," or something.
Yeah.
I think that I think that's profound commentary right there, because like, sure, you can call it masturbatory for somebody playing themselves to be like, Academy, why haven't you given me another Oscar? But he's kind of right.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like Scarface. I know, Scarface isn't like been blasted out in a pop culture and it's been parodied and all that stuff. But some of the, you can look at that and it almost kind of, you can see why people appreciate it. But like Scarface is really good. Like I don't even feel like I'm watching Al Pacino in that movie either. But like, I don't know what it is about Heat, but it's just like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are so funny to me. Like, I'm not gonna say anything because I want you to. There's like some lines that I love in this movie, but I don't want to tell you just because I want you to experience it. But it's such a long movie too. It almost feels like it's two movies, but it's one.
I have the director's cut. I think it's like even longer.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Well, they
God.
put it out.
Oh, speaking of, did we talk about that? Francis Ford Coppola's, or I think we did.
Yeah,
He's releasing.
we did.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I pre-ordered it a couple days ago because like I was like, it's not that expensive, and
it's like $15, right?
And it's probably gonna go down
in
price before it comes out, because that's like the retail price. So I pre-ordered it because like I would like to see like how he fixes The Godfather 3, which like is kind of it's fine, but like there's definitely problems, and apparently it's like 5 minutes shorter. So
could you tell me what you think? I mean, I guess I'm assuming we'll probably review it on the podcast anyways, but Godfather 3 is the only one I haven't seen.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because as we're talking about regular Al Pacino to shouting Al Pacino, like Godfather was kind of like Godfather 3 is like shouting Al Pacino, and 1 and 2 is regular Al Pacino. So it kind of makes it a fascinating study, especially
a microcosm.
Yeah, it's such a microcosm.
Yeah, but I'm planning on rewatching those 1 and 2 and then watching the recut of 3. But me and you have been talking about late Coppola films.
Late period Coppola.
Yeah.
And I want to get into.
I really want to get into it too. I just watched Patrick H. Williams. He did like a 2-parter kind of spanning all of Coppola's filmography. And I'll send those to you. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just like an overview. He doesn't go too far into detail, but that's only because he has so much to cover.
I would
I love
say
his stuff.
One like the thing that I want to see that one Tetro. I think that was his.
Yeah, with Alden Aldrich or something. The dude that played Han Solo.
I don't know if Alden.
Oh, Vincent Gallo's in it too, isn't he?
Yeah, Vincent Gallo's.
Yeah, that's right. I knew I knew you were gonna bring that one up. I looked at it earlier. I was like, oh my god, I feel like Chris has to know about this. Yeah,
of course.
Well, that was really all I had in terms of films that I watched. If we should hop into the news now, if you want.
Yeah, I'm just gonna close it off saying that Blumhouse released 4 horror movies on Amazon that are like TV level movies. And I've watched 2 of them so far, Evil Eye and Nocturne. Evil Eye was okay, and Nocturne was probably the worst of them, but Nocturne is probably the one that probably is the most popular, I'd say, because it has Sydney Sweeney in it, and from Euphoria fame.
Yeah, okay.
And it's pretty stupid. It's like she gets obsessed with her, or no, she has a twin. And okay, so first of all, like her twin sister calls her Woombie, which is like,
dude, sick. Dude, all twins use that. Did you not know?
He's like, you're my wombi.
Ew.
So yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's whatever. It's not like it's not, top tier Blumhouse, but if you want some Blumhouse, they're available. I'll be probably watching the other two this week if I have time. But yeah, that's it. All right, we can move on to news. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have another kind of interesting week of film news. Just to throw this out there, it's not really film related, but I know we kind of talk about television sometimes. Seth Grahame-Smith is writing a Green Arrow series for HBO. Don't have too much to say for HBO Max, sorry. Don't have too much to say other than interesting.
Can it go darker than already the super dark Arrow?
Dude, honestly, it's a saving grace. I do not like Greg Berlanti. I don't like his writing so like all I can say is, thank God they're letting someone else do a DC show. I'm not really a big Green Lantern fan, but I've always thought he
Oh, I
is
thought you said Green
interesting.
Arrow. Sorry.
Did I say Green Arrow? I meant to say Green Lantern. If I did, if I messed up, oops.
Oh, okay. I was like, but isn't Arrow still running? Like, that's weird that they were.
They just ended it because Stephen Amell didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, okay.
It was either he didn't want to do it. I think he said that he was ready to move on. But yeah, so I don't know if this is going to be live action or animated. Could really be either if it's going to HBO Max.
What was that There was that 3D animated Green Lantern show from like when I was a kid.
I always heard it was good, but I never really watched it. John David Washington, jeez, is joining David O. Russell's new film. I think David O. Russell's last film.
Maybe. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Joy. Have you ever heard about I don't know how true this is, but I've heard that David O. Russell's kind of an asshole, to his.
He kind of looks like one.
To his
no hate to him. Don't personally know him, but.
Yeah, that looks
it was
like
Joy.
I still haven't seen that one. I've only seen Silver Linings Playbook. I didn't even watch American Hustle. But
I saw American Hustle. I never saw Silver Linings Playbook. I
saw
Joy.
Yeah,
this is okay.
Why would you make a movie about about a lady that makes a mop though? Right? Isn't that what it's about?
Yeah. I mean, it's more about I would say it's more of an empowerment story than anything. It's about her persevering and pushing through all the bullshit that she had to deal with and family and shitty male role models and
Isn't Robert De Niro in it?
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck
my boy. That smuggler. Oh dude, I'm totally gonna this is a complete side note. Me and you talked about it before. I'm gonna get that early De Palma De Niro trilogy box set for Christmas.
Oh.
I'm gonna ask for it.
We should watch it over the holiday.
I'm completely down. We'll do quick impressions for the podcast.
Yeah, I could do because greetings and hi mom. Oh, those will all be interesting.
Yeah. We have Coming to America, which the sequel to Coming to America is going to Amazon, not theaters anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's actually interesting because Paramount seem to offload all their stuff to Netflix. But I guess they were we'll toss Amazon a bone.
It's weird because they have their own streaming service.
Yeah.
They have Paramount
Plus, which
Plus
used to be CBS
something.
All Access.
Yeah. I like how they just add a plus to
everything.
Yeah. They couldn't get more inventive.
Apple TV Plus.
Yeah. It's whatever. I didn't even know this movie was coming out. I've never seen the first Coming to America.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Would I ever say, you know, that deserves a sequel? I have to know what happened to, you know,
Eddie Murphy's character.
Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall's character.
Mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't say, but you know, I think this stems from Paramount's desire for any type of valuable intellectual properties, which they
Yeah.
don't really have a lot of. Like they have Star Trek, which they're just like Star
They're
Trek
milking
TV show,
so
Star Trek
hard.
TV. Like, dude, Star Trek
Holy
Lower
hell.
Decks. You know about Star Trek Lower Decks?
Yeah, the little animated thing. Ooh, the little animated show that they're doing.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes of that, and it was
good.
horrible. Oh yeah, dude, it's like Star Trek Rick and Morty.
That's pretty much what I thought they were gonna try to do. Like when I saw the trailer, it looked like that. When I hear Paramount, I think of you know, like when they tried to do a theme park, but they legit didn't have any IPs, so they had to make up. Did that theme park ever go through? Oh wait, I think
that
Six
was a real.
Flags.
No, there was a Paramount theme park. It
Okay.
was called Paramount Kings Island, which they took away the branding, and now it's just Kings Island. I think it's in Ohio, but like they had like no intellectual properties at all. So like they made like rides out of like things that like it was like the Wesley Snipes movie Drop Zone, the ride.
Is it still up? That ride?
Well, they took the rides are still up, but they took away all the Paramount like branding, so it was like a business partnership.
That's a shame.
It was like the Italian Job.
I was gonna say, me and you should go do a vlog, the first podcast party, podcast party 43 vlog. That's what we'll call it. Yeah. The next other piece of big news is George Miller's Furiosa has released its casting. It's got Anya Taylor-Joy, Chris Hemsworth, and I hope I'm saying his name right. If I mispronounce it, I'm very sorry. Yahya Abdul Mateen 2, and I remember him from Watchmen.
You mean the second?
So, oh my god. Dude, holy shit. I feel so stupid. I wrote down 2. Oh my god.
I think you pronounced his name correctly though, so.
Well, pros and cons.
Yeah. Too.
Dude. Oh my god. So stupid. Well, you roll with the punches, right?
Didn't they cast they cast Anya Taylor-Joy because they couldn't get, because like Charlize Theron is too old, so I guess they wanted to go too younger.
I think it's like a prequel thing, which is
hey dude, George Miller, I have trust. I if he can just make Fury Road 2, I'd be fine with that. Like just do the same thing but with a new story, and you know, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I trust him. He is one of those directors that has like such a weird filmography. I must say, it's like Mad Max, Happy Feet, and a Babe sequel, and that's and then well, the next little piece of thing is another TV thing, but Dexter's returning for a mini series. Don't know why. Don't really know why I wrote it down, but thought it was somewhat important.
Well, the overlap of people that listen to Podcast 43 and people that like Dexter, it's the Venn diagram. It's just a circle. It's not even a Venn diagram.
They're waiting for me to mess up on the next piece of writing that I wrote down. That's really where that Venn diagram intercepts. Anyways, but another piece of interesting film news to come out is Ridley Scott and Joaquin Phoenix are teaming up for a Napoleon biopic. So there's that.
You know, that's gonna be. I'm looking forward to that. I know that it was Kubrick that had that Napoleon script that he never got around to.
I really would have loved to see that movie come to fruition.
And then Spielberg was gonna like make it, and I think that kind of went dead in the water luckily, because maybe everybody was like, hey, didn't this guy direct AI, artificial intelligence, which was also a Kubrick script?
I've never seen that one, but all I can say is I am excited for Ridley Scott's next film. It's got Adam Driver and Matt Damon in it. It's like a medieval movie, but I heard that I'm just confused because I thought Ridley Scott was going to be doing the next Alien movie, but I guess that's not really happening. I don't know how many people are actually excited about that, but I don't know. He said he was good. Fox had plans for 5 movies, and then Covenant didn't perform well. Then he was just going to do a 3rd one to cap it off, but that may have changed because of Disney now. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if Fox is, or sorry, 20th Century Studios.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Which is always going to be Fox in my mind, because fuck you, Disney. But from what I've heard, they seem to be kind of weary about that. So I don't know. I mean, he does have a lot of capital.
Yeah, like it would make the money. Like it's got enough brand recognition at this point. But the last little piece of film news I have is Adam McKay's next film is coming out, and it's got a enormous cast like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Timothy Chalamet. I'm forgetting his name. Jonah Hill, I believe, is in it, and there's a select few of other people. Excuse me.
What's it gonna be about?
I completely forgot. Sorry. It's for Netflix, I believe. And it's called Don't Look Up.
Sequel to Don't Look Now.
The comedy drama, star-studded cast.
It's probably something, I don't know.
Political?
He's probably going to do another political film.
Probably something political.
We don't like those. No. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know.
A pair of astronomers try to warn everyone on Earth that a giant meteorite will destroy the planet in 6 months. It's probably going to be like, I feel like it's just going to be like kind of maybe like a metaphor for like global warming or something.
It would make sense why Leonardo DiCaprio is a part of it then.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett's also a part of it too.
Spread the message,
Yeah.
I've
only seen Vice. No, I've seen Step Brothers too, and Talladega Nights. I'm thinking Vice, of his comedy. Yeah.
Well, he said he's not doing well. Him and Will Ferrell have severed their relationship. Not that they're not friends, but like they're because Will Ferrell is not into doing what Adam McKay has kind of evolved to doing. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I was not really a fan of Vice. I thought it was kind of a bit masturbatory, but it had good performances.
I thought it was all right. Sorry,
Christian Bale did a good job as Dick Cheney.
He did, but when doesn't he deliver? He's normally pretty one of those those actors you can trust in.
That's right. Unless you're talking about Terminator Salvation.
You know what? You got me there.
Okay, but weren't we going to talk about a certain other superhero movie that was announced this week, correct, Fulton?
A superhero movie.
It was called Super something.
I'm lost on this one. I'm so sorry.
It was they powered up through a certain plant.
Oh my god. Super Weed.
Wasn't it
No.
super high, right?
My bad. Fuck. I forgot to write it down. Oh yeah. This is probably, I'm gonna speak for you, Chris. I hope this is okay. This is me and Chris's highly anticipated next superhero film. It's called Super High, and it's coming straight from the minds of Andy Samberg and Craig Robinson, and the plot is weed gives teenagers superpowers.
Yes. Yeah, it's a very ambitious idea, which is what we need for the genre. We
really need a reinvention, something to kind of throw a wrench in everything.
And it's crazy because I didn't really know that like Seth Rogen and all those guys were like stoners. So it's like
Commons is also in it too.
Yeah, Commons in it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. Who knows what is going to happen?
So
yeah, thank you for reminding me about that. I meant to write it down before we started recording, and then I got sidetracked with trying to write down the other news. But thank you so much for bringing that up.
Of course.
Well, that's a perfect segue because our feature films aren't related to weed. So it's an inverse segue if you think about it. But first, before we get into that, we're going to take a quick ad break. And we're back.
We are back. You know, you guys want to know a little behind the scenes thing is that actually it's 5 seconds our ad breaks. Like we don't even go anywhere. It's crazy.
we just keep on recording and then we put it in later. So this the feature film pick of the week was mine, and I decided to do The Wolf of Snow Hollow, which is Jim Cummings' new film. And me and Chris decided to never been done before in the podcast, but we're kind of doing a double review. We're reviewing both of Jim Cummings' feature films. The first one is Thunder Road, which came out in 2018, and the new one is The Wolf of Snow Hollow, which came out this year. So in typical podcast 43 fashion, I will ask you first. I guess we'll go through Thunder Road, and then we'll kind of get into The Wolf of Snow Hollow. So what is your what were your thoughts on Thunder Road?
Well, first of all, shout out to Jim Cummings for liking my review of Thunder Road on Letterboxd today.
That's amazing, man. I'm that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I gave it a positive, glowing review because I really did enjoy it. I didn't see, so it was originally based off of a short film that I have not seen, but the short film is basically, from what I've heard, the opening of Thunder Road, which is, you know, a very tragic yet funny, which I think, you know, is kind of a theme of a lot of the movie. Scene where Jim Cummings' character, who I believe his name is Jim, because Jim Cummings wrote, directed, and starred in Thunder Road, and Jim is his name, and he delivers the eulogy at his mother's funeral, and it's just like so uncomfortable, and I think that like his performance is what really sells it to me, like this whole movie, where he's like this incredibly flawed individual that's obviously going through a lot of shit, like with like his mom dying, and then he's like going through like a divorce and stuff, and trying to get custody of his dog.
Can't help but wanting to try to hug him or talk to him.
And it's like it's a lot of it I think has to do with like the way he delivers his lines, and it's kind of like the screechy, like sad, like and yeah, I really enjoyed Thunder Road, and I think that it ties into a lot of like issues that like rural America has. Where is it set again? I want to say it's like
Texas.
Yeah, you're
right.
In
Texas, I think.
It was either it's either like, I think it's Texas, yeah. but like, yeah, I think that I'm also a fan of Springsteen's music, and Springsteen ties into this. The title, of course, being named after the Springsteen song, even though the song is not played. But it was also shot on a modest $200,000 budget, and Cummings really
Makes
does a
use of
great,
it.
really
Yeah.
makes use of it, and does a really fantastic job stretching that as much as possible. And yeah, I thought that it was a lovely indie film, and I could not recommend it highly enough.
So I'm in the exact same boat. So for this one is actually recommended to me by a coworker because I hadn't heard of it. I think I'd seen a trailer, but I really hadn't really planned on watching it or anything. And then he told me about it, and he told me that it was on Amazon. So like that night, I checked it out, and I loved it. Like I mean, every once in a while you come across a film that really hits you like hard, and you just kind of like you get done, and then you just can't stop thinking about it. And yeah, I loved it. I love how Jim Cummings is able to kind of mesh. They often do go together, but sadness and comedy. But he's able to hit these really high emotional, almost like cracking points for his characters, and then have comedy be like almost bubble in through it throughout. Like I'm thinking of the police, the scene in front of the police station in particular.
Oh yeah,
When he's just like he's at his breaking point, and then he's yelling at people, and he's like, I mean, you get what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think he is able to balance these things extremely well, and I think he is good with visual story making just as good as he is with script writing, right? And like I love that scene. There's a scene between Jim and his daughter, and she wants to play like this patty cake game, but he has a really hard time with doing that. And I think it's a simple thing, and it's such a simple way to convey that the character is trying, even though he's flawed. He's still trying at the end of the day. He just can't do it. And then so in the morning, when she's going to school, he walks her out the door, and then the camera kind of pans down to the wall, and you can see where he outlined his hand, and he was practicing doing it all night. So when the opportunity presented itself for them to do it again, he could have a chance to bond with his
Yeah, and
daughter, even in the
that's such
closest. Yeah.
it's such a nice scene too. When he gets
Yeah.
it finally, you're like, you feel like, oh, he's really tried to succeed and trying to connect with his daughter, who
hmm
he's so desperately trying to cling on to. And I think that there's a lot of similarities and themes between this and The Wolf of Snow Hollow, with
Oh,
like
agreed.
family. Yeah, like
Like even his like character introduction is very kind of similar. It's like a small monologue. In Thunder Road it's longer, but in the Wolf of
more
Snow
uncomfortable.
Hollow, yeah, he has a introduction at an AA meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he also I also really appreciate his friendship with
His fellow
officer
officer.
with Nate, yeah, Officer Nate Lewis,
Yeah.
Niken Robinson. Um Niken Robinson's character, where I don't know, like they kind of go from getting into like kind of a altercation together, and he's
hmm
angry and stuff, but like he's pretty much like the closest thing that he has to like
A
a
friend.
family,
Yeah.
friend and family in a lot of ways. And like when he goes over to the house, it's just a nice scene, them eating dinner, and
And then
his
playing baseball,
and then playing
getting
baseball.
drunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is such a heartwarming little scene. Like and the montage and the music and them overlaying of talking, it all works really good together. Um
Yeah.
and
Such a
mhm.
it's such a I mean, like, couldn't really I can't think of a is like one of the strongest directorial debuts I can think of in recent memory that I've
I
seen.
agree.
Like for a first feature film, this is
It's pretty impressive.
quite impressive.
Yeah. So I don't have too. I know. I don't really have too many negatives about Thunder Road. I actually can't really think of any off the top of my head. To you, did the Wolf of Snow Hollow? I felt like it was a little bit more slapstick than Thunder Road, and I was kind of interested to see what you thought about the Wolf of Snow Hollow.
Yeah, I took it as it's a lot more violent, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot more, and it's but I think he still manages to, you know, have a lot of good comedic bits and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I found the Wolf of Snow Hollow a little bit more. I found it more funny than I did Thunder Road.
Yeah, like the part in the Wolf of Snow Hollow where I don't know why, but the part are we gonna do?
We can.
Are we doing spoilers?
Oh, maybe we should give our first impressions first and then do spoilers. That might be a little bit more easier on listeners.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that bit with the I found it. I did find it to be a little bit funnier.
Mm-hmm. I still felt like it had the emotional weight too. Like it knew how to judge it, or knew how to balance it, I should say. So.
And I think I liked Thunder Road better overall,
mm-hmm.
but I think the Wolf of Snow Hollow is still very strong.
And I completely agree. I think both are very good. I do have a little bit more of a favoritism towards Thunder Road. I do agree.
But
mm-hmm.
like he does a good job with like kind of building this like kind of small town where everybody knows each other, and it's a quick watch. Like not counting credits, it's 80 minutes. So like,
both of them are pretty short.
Yeah, both are short films, and he's able to do a lot with that in a short bit of time. But the it's just threw me for a curve in the end. Honestly, I will say
the ending of Wolf of Snow Hollow.
Yeah.
It got extremely violent, like more than I was anticipating.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest. Which it's not a detractor at all. But I guess I'll just say my first impressions of Snow Hollow. I would I definitely recommend it. I'm assuming those who when we talk about spoilers, if y'all haven't seen it, I would just hold off to listening to the spoiler part. I highly recommend The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I would say maybe get a few people together and watch it. It's a fun little movie. It can be dark, but it's still really good.
And Cummings, so like we just want to clear up that Cummings in both movies plays the main character.
Yeah.
And in this he plays a cop in both of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of similar themes, but I feel like in different settings.
Oh, assuredly. Yeah.
Like Cummings in this, like in The Wolf of Snow Hollow, Cummings is a recovering alcoholic, and also a divorced father, but more of a deadbeat. Well, I'd say like more of an objectively bad person in this movie. Like, and I think the jig is still up about like what Cummings' view of like, or like how Cummings wrote the character that he played in this movie, because like I don't think that like he's like a good cop. Like I really don't. Like I think he's a bad cop. Like he's like the part that stood out to me was when he was in the library and reading, because like so there's murders in the library about there's murders around Snow Hollow where they live, of like people think it's some type of murderer, but like then it's like kind of, oh, you think it's like a werewolf, but then like
I guess we should say, are we getting into spoilers?
Oh shit, yeah, I thought we already were. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I know I kind of briefly talked about it. I didn't directly say it, so we're getting into spoilers. All right, go ahead. Sorry, bud.
Oh yeah, so people think it's a werewolf then, and he thinks it's a werewolf, and then it turns out to just be a crazy taxidermist that's super tall. which is a pretty funny reveal.
Yeah.
But when he's in the library reading about werewolves, the librarian wakes him up because he's sleeping, because he had like a call on his walkie-talkie, and he goes like, and he says something along the lines of like, never wake up a librarian, never wake up a cop when he's like reading a book, because like, you know, he could shoot you or something. And I think that's like, especially now, that's pretty topical with like everything that's going on about like people's views on like police brutality and having too much authority and stuff. And it's like, you know, like that's like, you know, super messed up, like to say that, because the librarian guy is so nice and he's like, hey, don't do that, like somebody could shoot you, like but
and he often fires people that like don't give him the respect that he thinks he deserves, or don't tell him what he wants to hear.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm thinking of not what would you call him? Not the mortician, but I get no, you would call that a mortician. There's a mortician that gets fired, and there's a fellow police officer that gets fired too.
Yeah, he fires a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, when he's tracking down the killer, finally, he doesn't need to, he shoots him point blank in the head twice.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need to. Like,
I was wondering if he was gonna. I for some reason I kind of felt like he was gonna try to take him in to some point, but I mean, well, I don't even know. He did get stabbed in the stomach pretty brutally.
And that leads, and so like that part was like also messed up, because like, yeah, like the guy was you know, horrible person, of course, who's killing all these people, but like it still shows like a belief of like, I know what's best for people, and like I should, you know, because he didn't need to kill him. He was clearly like,
he was clearly caught. Yeah.
So, and then so he just shoots him point blank in the head. And I think that also, I think at the end of the movie, when Ricky Lindholm's character, what's her name? Julia Robson, according to Letterboxd, she ends up becoming the sheriff. And I think that like that was kind of a way of showing like this guy isn't necessarily all great, because it's like she was very calm, collected.
She knew how to lead people too. There was a big discussion between him and the sheriff at the time, which was his father, about how to lead people, and he would often just kind of yell at people and not really listen to what they had to say. I feel like most of the time.
But his belief in finding the killer, I think also stems from like his, like just trying to prove something to people and holding on to like show that he's like a responsible father, and like he has all that. And like obviously his dad is the sheriff, like you said, played by Robert Forrester, and
R.I.P.
R.I.P. He's he wants to prove that to his daughter, but like still doesn't know how to like show his love in like any other way other than that, like, because he doesn't even ask if she's like okay when
she gets hurt. which is an interesting scene. But one scene I kind of wanted to highlight, particularly with the daughter, I do like the ending scene where the two college dudes walk up behind, or you know, they walk behind him, and they're like, "Oh man, I heard like the gymnastic girls are in our dorm hall. Like it's sick because we got fresh meat now." And then there's that moment where he like stops, and it's like he kind of perks, and then he kind of turns his head, and then he turns it back, and he puts his cap on, and he, you know, walks down. So I think it's one of those, again, simple visual cues that kind of show that the character is changing, and that he's, you know, he's trusting his daughter now with stuff that he didn't used to trust her with.
Well, I actually, when you just re-quoted that, I did think about the other connotation of tying it into fresh meat, as in like in the context of it being about a guy dressing up in a werewolf suit that eats people, you know.
But I actually
know.
didn't think. I wonder if that is supposed to tie back in because I was thinking like the killer mainly attacked women. There was only the one male officer, right?
Yeah.
Which that could have just been because he had to do it, you know? So it
Yeah, but
might be
he
trying
was.
to. You were saying something? I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was it though. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he exactly meant about that. I don't think
Hmm.
there was anything overtly sexual about. Well, yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah, because if
Yeah,
he
because
was
they
killing
removed
women,
the female parts, or the killer
yeah,
would. I might have to rewatch it to get like a better reading on if it was trying to. I don't remember it saying, like you said, like I don't remember it having like a huge statement about um or what it was trying to say about women or sexuality or something. But um there's something else I wanted to talk about, but for some reason it's escaping my mind. Um, Another part of another scene that I really liked was I think it is kind of funny, but it's also one of those tense moments where it's kind of like it. There's two montages and they both kind of mirror each other. I believe there's two montages. Um, there's two montages. So the first one is him kind of like him repeating what he's going through and how like all of the stuff in his life is kind of turning upside down and it's like getting harder and there's more killings and then there's pressure from the community and just
yeah,
pressure from everyone. And then I like how in the second montage it kind of shows him kind of losing his grip and it kind of there's that scene in the funeral where he's talking to, I'm assuming, the mom, and a relative of one of the victims is yelling at him and telling him why it's like either like why the hell aren't you finding him, like the shit is so easy.
yeah.
So it's interesting to see kind of
The older guy, right?
yeah, it's interesting to see kind of both the police force, the hunters, and then like um the what would you say, like bystanders, kind of how that interaction intertwines, because there's a lot of they do kind of comment on the media and how like they'll take little tidbits and kind of turn it and churn it and turn it
Well,
out and whatever.
well, speaking of the media, though, the part where there's the second murder,
Hmm.
and like I think that may be my favorite scene of the movie when like he sees the news truck and then like he starts like flipping out and it's just super loud and super tense and he's just like yelling at everyone and like the
Hmm.
music, the score is playing in the background, like the violins and stuff, and it's
Hmm.
just like just completely chaotic. And because like and he doesn't really know like what to do
Hmm.
exactly because he's under a lot of pressure. And
Hmm.
would you say that would you say that co- oh, okay, this is a great scene which displays Cummings' like comedic ability, uh
Hmm.
is the part where his daughter and her boyfriend Brock
Hmm.
are, so they're like making out in his car, and
Hmm.
then the wolf comes and attacks them, and like so then his daughter goes to the hospital, and like then he finds out where Brock lives by like breaking into his daughter's phone, and then he goes there and he starts beating Brock up, and then so his mom, then Brock's mom pepper sprays Jim
Both of them.
Cummings and both of them. And so like then he just kind of slogs to the fridge and gets like some milk and just hits it and it just
Hmm.
flashes all over his face and then he just leaves.
I love all the. There's a lot of comedic slaps that
Yeah.
Jim Burrs just like pops out and like he'll just hit people that like he gets really frustrated with. Um,
Yeah.
which is again is an example of him being a bad person and a bad cop, but I think it has a very good comedic payoff because they don't overuse it, but there's just some really funny parts where he just slaps someone and then all hell breaks loose with people trying to
Yeah.
break him off of the person that he is attacking.
And my yeah, like the I just think Cummings has a I want Cummings to continue doing more comedic stuff.
Yeah, he's a
I
mate.
think
I love his movies, and I think he seems like a pretty nice guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good physical actor too, and like
Yeah.
um, so yeah. Also nice to see the Orion Pictures logo at the beginning of this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's neat. I always love seeing that at the beginning of older films. And
Mm-hmm.
they're bringing it back. But I don't know. What do you have anything else that you want to talk about? In this?
I don't have too much other to say other than like please go and check out both of these movies. Like you can knock them out. You could probably knock both out in one whole sitting if you really wanted to. But I really can't. I can't highly. I you know. I strongly recommend them.
Oh, I guess I did want to bring up that
Mhm.
Jimmy the Jimmy Tatro is his name, I believe, the guy from the beginning.
Oh yeah, from American Vandal and
Yeah,
everything else.
from American Vandal. I had this thought in my head that he's like the himbo icon of our generation, kind of. Would you agree with that? Like
Himo,
himbo?
Himbo.
You
I've
know,
never heard that before. My bad.
like a himbo is like, an attractive but unintelligent man, like a himbo.
Oh, okay. I see. I see where you're getting at. Yeah,
Himbos and
yeah.
bimbos.
I feel bad for him sometimes, and that's why I'm kind of grateful that he got this role because he said that
Yeah.
he's super tired of being typecast as just like this idiotic like
As a
jock.
himbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a more like he's definitely seemed to be more intelligent in this, and
Yeah, for sure.
not a jock at all. And you
Yeah.
feel really bad for his character. Like it seemed,
And
obviously getting your fiance killed.
yeah, it's terrible. And then I do love he's such a minor character, but you do get to kind of know where his head's at, if that makes sense. Like, like there's like that scene at the diner I think is like when I think about this movie, I feel like there's so many characters in it and it's only an hour and 30 minutes, but there are like these I mean, props to Jim Cummings and the way that he can do it, but there's I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of memorable characters for it to be such a short film. And I think that kind of plays to whoever his casting agent is or whoever he handpicks. I think he has a good job of kind of finding these really good people that he might be doing, grabbing real people from the location that he filmed at to play these characters or something. But like my mind goes out to like most of the victims, they aren't really on screen for that long, but you do feel like you kind of know them, so you can kind of feel that weight when they're gone. I'm thinking about like before a victim dies, he always has like these little scenes that kind of capture their character pretty well, and it makes me think of like NCIS or whatever, Law and Order. They always have these victims, and they attempt to do that, but they never really do. So you don't really, you get what I'm kind of going at.
Yeah, they do a good. He does a good job of writing somebody that you can feel sympathy with almost immediately. And like they developed I don't know, I guess, were they alluding to like was he smoking crack or something, or I wasn't sure what that was.
Yeah, I was assuming that was crack. I actually thought that are now deemed himbo. I thought he was that dude, like from that side profile, he looked exactly like Jimmy Tatro. Is that his name?
Yeah, Jimmy Tatro.
Tetro, okay. Yeah, he looked just like him from that scene. So I was like, oh wow, okay. So that's interesting. So he has like a double life, or I was like, or maybe they're gonna do something weird, or it's like a twin. But I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like would have been stupid if they were like he was the killer.
Yeah,
Actually,
it would have been. So I'm glad that they didn't take that route. Sorry. Yeah, but I don't know that when you when we were talking about the victim, or when I was talking about the victims, I do think that's really interesting because there's the first victim, you kind of get to see her and her fiance and kind of how their relationship works, and then you get to see the girl that works at the ski lift and kind of what she's going through with her ex-boyfriend, I assume, or an ex-lover.
Yeah.
And then you get to know the mom and the daughter's kind of backstory, and that was a really weird scene, and I thought
That
it
made
was
me so
interesting.
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was it like, and I love how they shoot, or how they shot it, because it's just kind of like this angle where you're looking down at the mom, and like on the right side corner you can kind of see the baby, on the left side corner you can kind of see the dude's long skinny jeans, and then you see, like, you get the impression that she's kind of closed in, you know
Yeah.
and you
And just
kind of
her
see
body
his,
language is
yeah, oh my god. And then you kind of see his hands, and they're and then who is the next victim? Was there that was it, right? It was the mom was the last victim, and then there was the cop, and I don't think
yeah.
yeah, okay.
He didn't kill
Yeah.
anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, is there anything else you wanted to add on to that?
well, there's that one quote where Jim Cummings slaps the guy, and he's like, and he says, "I'm a father," and then the guy says back to him, "No, you're not," which I thought was a good line of dialogue, kind of showing like how people look at him as
Mhm.
a person in the town and stuff, and how like, yeah, like he kind of abandoned everything. And uh but
What
yeah.
when he said I'm a father, was that, which altercation was that?
um so one of his colleagues, I believe.
Okay. I'm
I
trying to
wrote it
remember.
down, but
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, like, um and then like you almost feel like he kind of, I don't even think he really earns back his daughter's respect by the end, really.
I think he's trying in the way that he can, but I do agree. I
Yeah.
don't think he's fully. Oh, there was something I did want to bring up. From
Yeah.
time to time, I check on the horror r/horror, which is a subreddit where it's just a bunch of people who really like horror, just talking about horror films.
Yeah.
So naturally, this one fit the season, so it got brought up by somebody, and the person that posted it, they really liked the movie, and then someone under it, they really didn't like the movie. They thought it was all right, but they said that they thought that the film had a lot of plot lines that didn't really connect, which, I mean, maybe I'm biased, but I don't really agree with. Like, I thought everything was wrapped up fairly well in this movie. And I just
I
kind of
didn't
wanted to gauge what you thought.
I couldn't think of anything that that didn't get wrapped up. I mean, we found out who got, the sheriff position.
Mm-hmm.
Uh he I guess, I mean, the only thing was maybe not mending things up with his daughter, but that's still at least shown at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I felt like the ex-wife was kind of should have. I felt like she was gonna play a larger role than she did.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
maybe I was just because of Thunder Road. But I didn't think
Mm-hmm.
that her presence was really warranted. Like,
Yeah,
she
I
didn't really do
agree.
much of note. But
I
that's
thought
all
she
I can
was
really think of.
comedically placed in
Yeah.
so yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that up. It was just because I figured it would be different it was different from my interpretation of the film, so I just kind of wanted to bring that up and kind of gauge what you thought about that.
Well, yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Well, I think we both recommend both of these movies, as you said before. But I surely agree.
Hmm.
I think that they're both worth your time,
Hmm.
and I think that Jim Cummings is somebody that we will be eagerly anticipating to see what he does next.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Just to say a few more things. If you want to follow me and Chris on Letterbox, my name is Fulton Collins on there, and
and
Chris.
and I'm Chris Borg. And our next movie next week is going to be the new Sofia Coppola movie, On the Rocks, with Rashida Jones and Bill Murray. You can watch it on Apple TV Plus if you have it. If you buy an Apple device, they give you a free year. So like, I think a lot of people have them. It's a new A24 production. We'll be talking about not just that movie, but other of Coppola's movies. And
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, and remember to follow our Instagram for updates on the podcast. And goodbye.
Stay wavy.
There we go.